Welcome back to a podcast, episode number 2. We're very excited. We have a very special guest today. His name is Carlos Landa. Thank you for coming today, man. My
Thanks,
dad.
Alan. Thank you. Happy to be here, man. I'm proud of you guys for putting this together, man. Any way I can help, I'm down for it. So let's do it, man. How are you guys?
Good, good. Appreciate you coming through, like you said. But yeah,
Yeah, man. How was your day today?
It was busy. Every day is busy as a realtor. There's a lot of projects going in place and setting up the business and the systems and the organizations. So every day is a lot to do, but being able to manage that it's is what we're trying to do. So
We were really excited to have you on today because I feel like even though we're both in different industries, I feel like we have a lot of similarities. I feel like I really like that you're in the downtown area, and we can talk about that in a little bit too. But one of the topics that I wanted to talk about is why your office is downtown. I mean, you could have picked your office anywhere in Salem, but you decided to do downtown, even though parking is a lot shittier now. There's a lot like for real estate, you don't necessarily need to be in downtown. You could have gone anywhere, but I'm really curious to pick your brain on that. Um, we've been watching your guys' social media, and you guys have been, I think, in my opinion, have been killing it in social media. You guys are doing something that not a lot of realtors in this area is doing. So I'm really curious to pick your brain on that. I'm really excited to talk about that. Um, but let's start off with where are you from, man?
well, I was born in Mexico City, but I was raised here in Salem. I came
Salem.
here when I was 6 years old, so I'm pretty much from Salem. So I've been here all of my life since then, and I've gotten to see how Salem has grown a lot. Um, so, so kind of to go the route to answer your questions. I used to have a studio here in the Reed Opera House, and I used to do marketing back in the day. So I did that for 10 plus 12 years. And so I have a history being at the Reed Opera House. Used to have my studio there. We used to do some photography. We used to do marketing, and so I knew the culture in the Reed Opera House. I knew the culture downtown. So what we're trying to do now that I'm a realtor, we're trying to bring that culture into the realtor, into the media, so people can see out there that what we do on the daily. We do a lot of videos on social media, and we're always continuing to improve our videos and our content because we want to be able to show people what we do, give people information, and that's part of the reason why we moved to the Reed Opera House. So, yeah.
Nice. We were actually looking at a studio in the Reed Opera House. Originally, that was the original building that we first looked at, right?
yeah,
But we ended up next door at the Salem Arts building, which is also a really nice building that we really like.
Yeah, I used to come down this way because I've always been into media marketing, and so at different points in my life, I've had different types of businesses that have to do with media marketing. So a lot of I would look for studios like this. It would be something that, as an artist, I needed a studio to work, with, and maybe just back in the day, starting my craft as a photographer, I needed somewhere where I can bring my clients, take photos, and the Reed Opera House and the Arts Building presented a lot of good opportunities, good studios. So I like to see your studio is coming out good.
Not as good
Yeah.
looking as yours, man, but we're getting there.
No, well, I mean, it's a work in progress, and this is my idea. You always have to be working on a path to progress. So it doesn't matter where you are in the process, as long as you're on the path to progress. I think that's the important key. And so I always say, work with what you have right now. What can I do with what I have right now? And this applies to a lot of what I do, what we do, especially the content, the video creation. Sure, you can have the fanciest equipment, but if you're not using it, if you don't know how to use it, then it doesn't matter. So, a lot of the attention, and this happens to everybody, and that's in the media world and does videography and all this. sometimes we put a lot of emphasis and a lot of effort in the equipment because we want to have the best, but really we should be putting more emphasis on the creative and the topic and the subject and the art. It doesn't matter if you have like low equipment, you're going to slowly progress that way. Look at with Joe Rogan. He started in, in his house, in his room. I don't know. They started just messing around with like cameras, and look at where
Computer
he's at now.
webcams. Yeah, I think that's what
And,
it
and
was.
then like the content is what like brings people and what keeps people here. So I think as creators, um, we have to put more emphasis on the content, being creative, and pushing our minds into bringing information to people, bringing valuable information, even if it's entertaining. Well, okay, let's be entertaining, or if it's informative, let's be informative. But let's give something, let's give value to people. Let's give something to people so they can continue watching the content, right? So work with what you have, and sometimes is not a lot. Sometimes is not the best camera. Sometimes the audio is not perfect. Oh, you asked me how my day was. A little bit of, I was doing a little bit of editing, and then the audio is not perfect, and I'm kicking myself, and I'm like, oh man, this audio is clipping. It's
Yeah.
not good. It's distorting, and I'm really hard on myself. So naturally, I want to improve and I want to get that better. But it's okay, because as long as we're doing it, and there's progress, then the next time we'll fix that. We'll fix that. We're learning from everything we do. So yeah, it's a progress for sure.
That's crazy, man. What what's a campaign ad? What would you consider a campaign ad?
What would I consider a campaign ad? So we've been playing around with some ads, some ad campaigns. We've been learning. We learn from people like Ryan Serhant. He does a lot of marketing and video marketing. And so what I've learned is that there are two types of marketing. There is brand awareness, brand recognition, and there's lead generation. And at least for us in the real estate, what we've been doing, you have lead generation, which are ads. Think of them as TV ads. You see TV ads, people are trying to sell you something, right? Click here, click that, call me, this, and that. It's like a commercial, right? So lead ads directly targeted to a specific audience. Hey, you're a business owner. I have a program for you that you don't need your taxes. You can do a bank statement, stuff like that. Direct information to consumers. This is an ad, and we're paying for ads, and we're generating leads, we're generating clicks, we're generating traffic, and so they start. That's the funnel, right? That's part of the funnel. That's at the top. That's when everybody comes in, and then it goes through our system. So that's a whole different part too. But the first part being the funnel, the ads, and and on the other hand, you have brand recognition, brand awareness. So you see big brands doing a lot of brand awareness because they're at that point where they can just do brand awareness. Brand awareness is recognizing who you are, recognizing what you represent, and keeping it in people's mind. And so that we do that with our social media channels, and we try to be as consistent as possible. Um, and and then in order to be consistent, you have to have processes and systems, because this is what I say. This is what I say always. You can do it. You can do something beautiful once. And I'm talking about maybe content, doing a video or something, especially in our industry, real estate. You can do a video that's beautiful, and you could spend 8 hours on it, and it's beautiful, and you put it out there. But if you're gonna spend that much time, it's gonna be really hard for you to be consistently doing it again and doing it again and doing it again. And so if you're gonna have something where you're gonna be repeating doing something and over again, you gotta have a good system and a good process for you to be efficient, for you to want to do it. Because you can do something great, marvelous once, but if it's going to be so hard to do again, you're not going to be consistent. And that is going to be the key to your success, consistency in anything that you do. That's why you see a lot of people that start projects and they're very enthusiastic, and they start projects and they're like later, oh, well, we stopped, because it's hard to be consistent. That's the key, and that's for sure what the real estate business is about. If you're a realtor, if you're in there for business, you can sell a house here and there, one house, two houses, great. Commission can be great. But if you're only selling a house here and there every other month, every few months, well, you got to have some consistency if you really want to make it in the industry as a realtor. So, now maybe you have to produce 2 deals a month, to survive. And if you want to make money, maybe you have to produce 4 or 5 deals a month. So, the more deals you do a month, the more money you make. But to get to that point, you really have to be really organized and have a system and have a process. Because, like I said, you can close a $1 million deal once and not ever do it again. So you want some consistency throughout the year so you can make a living, as a realtor. So there's a lot of.
I think you pointed out some good stuff. I think, I mean, to be efficient, you have to have a system, right? And to have a system, like you said, you could sell something, whatever you do, anything you do it once, okay? You could do it again, but if you keep doing that every month, the same thing, well, how are you going to get to 2, 3, or 4? You have to have you said it great, have a system. I would say, I guess that's part of having a routine, how to be more efficient and how to save time. What are you going to do to be doing this to close something else or,
Eh,
have more time?
Yeah, and then also delegating a lot of the stuff that you don't need to do. Like for example, as a realtor now, um, there's some stuff that are just logistics that I don't have to do anymore. I can hire an assistant for that assistant to do that job, and the postings on social media. I can hire somebody to specifically post for me. So I don't spend that time doing that. I can spend my time where it's valuable the most. And so, yeah, if you have your system, now you can start to leverage your time yourself, and then you can start to hire out people to do things for you. But that's a good point. Yeah.
No, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think the way you said it's, you hire someone, you get someone on social media, but I mean, your time is more valuable at that point. Yes, you could gain the social media, but you gain a lot more. You gain your time, and that system with your social media is already set. You started your platform. You kind of started I guess the beginning, and it's just gonna grow on its own. It's gonna work on its own, and you're just doing something else at that point. You check in here and there. Is that kind of what you?
That's the goal. I think that's the goal, and that should be the goal of any business owner, because there's a difference between being a business owner and being self-employed, right? You could be self-employed, you could be doing everything yourself, but if you were to, I don't know, injure yourself or die or whatever, the business dies, right? So it's done, and that's cool, and I've done that a lot of my years, but it really. The goal for us is to build the business and have it run on its own. And to do that, it's really organizing everything, building an organization, putting people in place. That way, I can start replacing myself little by little on certain things and get to the point where I don't need to be there in order for the business to run. I think that's the ultimate goal for sure. Yeah.
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 So you have a business partner, correct?
I have a business partner, yes.
How long have you known him?
I've known Isaias for maybe 7, 8 years, maybe possibly even more, but he's been a realtor for that long, and I used to help with marketing and just small jobs here and there back in the day, and so we had that friendship. But I was in marketing, and he continued the real estate, and so. Yeah, it's interesting how throughout the years we've progressed in our lives or where we're at, and um, now I'm a realtor, which it's fantastic. It's great. I love the challenge. I love to learn. It really is a challenge, but I love it. It's like almost like somebody that and yeah, like I used to say, okay, God, make me wise. I want to be wise. Okay, be careful what you ask for, because You know what that means? It means you're gonna fucking go through some hard shit, you
Yeah.
know, in order to be wise and to learn. You're gonna have to fucking learn, right? So maybe I didn't know what I was asking for, but it's be careful what you ask for. But being a realtor now, it's it's in that pathway to becoming a better person myself, and being wise and being better and better and better. It is part of it. It is the path, and it's amazing how everything has been pretty perfect for me in every step of the way. Because no, I didn't think I was gonna be a realtor. I mean, maybe I thought about it, but here and there. But I was in media, I was in marketing, I was in design. I'm a photographer. I've always been behind the scenes, supporting cast, and so being a realtor means you got to be in front of people. You got to talk to people. You got to be a salesman. All you guys are salesmen. So I would have my business, but I would rely more on what I could do for my art, my photography, my design. So for me to now be a realtor, this is me taking leaps forward. This is me like fucking stepping up and being like, okay, you want to? Well, then here is the path, you know. And this is what it's been like the last couple of years. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think the factor is on why you and your partner work so well together?
That's a great question, and we do work really well together. Part of it is because we've been through some good hardships together and grown together. We, going through this transformation journey of becoming a better person. We've been doing it together, and it's amazing because we have progressed in our lives in every way, personal, business, and spiritually. And so I think that's why, because we have seen our growth on each other. And um, we motivate each other for sure. And definitely we both have different strengths and complement very well. I think that's why we've been working very well along.
Do you think that you guys have two completely separate roles in the business, or do you think you guys are both really good at everything and you guys just like kind of like divide the load of everything and
Definitely, we're not good at everything. Like we both have our strengths. Obviously, I come with the marketing piece and the production, and um, that's part of my strength. Being technical, understanding this, understanding media, understanding marketing, understanding that. And he brings a lot of the connections with the community. He's very well known in the community with the real estate, a lot of experience, and so connecting to people. So he's a connector, and so um, plugging in both, has been a good match. Yeah. So far.
I've heard that a lot of people oversee the journey, and I think I've heard it, I've seen it by a lot of people, successful people, saying that the journey is what people love about it. Um, they say that they don't know that their end goal is this. Let's say whatever business or whatever you're doing, but anybody that's been there already, they say that when they look back, it's the journey. The ups and downs, this and that, how you started, the ground up. You had to do this, issues here. Your winnings, everything. So, I mean, would you agree with some of that or?
I love that because and when I think about that, it's like um, it's a challenge, but I love it, right? And sometimes it's like, oh man, I'm tired. I just want to, take a break or something. You want to give up, and but it's the challenge and it's the chase, and it's and then if I think about it, I think it's the the progression, the baby steps, because if you accomplish something, it feels really great, right? You feel accomplished. Yes, we did it. We accomplished this. Okay, let's do it again. It's always like getting better. I think the pursuit of greatness is that's the journey, the pursuit of greatness, and it's a hard journey, right? It's a fucking hard journey
Yeah.
because there's days when you're not motivated, you're just a little down, people's energies, and you just like you have to pull through because consistency is the key. So if you have no consistency, you're not gonna succeed. So you have to always keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, and keep your energy high and your vibration high. And that's why in this business of real estate, I love it, because it really does challenge me to become the best that I can be. Because if I'm feeling bad, if I'm feeling negative, that's gonna come across to my customer, to the people that I'm dealing with, to the people that I'm talking with on the phone. People read energies unconsciously, subconsciously. People read energies, and if you have bad energy, if you don't take care of yourself, people are gonna read that. People see through that, and we're in the business of earning people's trust. So if people can see and I can conquer that, myself enough to um, be genuine with myself, be truth, live in truth, and don't put a front. Okay, that's the key, right? To earn people's trust, you gotta be fucking straight. You gotta be truthful. You gotta be honest. You gotta people see through that. In order to be that way, well, you have to take care of your energy, right? Because if you're hanging out with bad energy and getting drunk all the time, you're gonna bring that with you, wherever you go. And so
You read you like a book, dude. Nah,
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
No, I was gonna say I like that because I tell Alan all the time, man. It's like I really like the whole, you know, and I think it's just the whole subconscious, right? The subconscious mind and what it is, the energy, the vibe you give out. Everything that we see when you live, an everyday thing, your subconscious mind picks it up, but you don't know that, and which is that's the hard part. I'm like, dude, protect your energy. Protect your energy because you only have so much, right?
Hmm.
Um, I really like that. I'm all about that. I mean, that's for a different time, but that's what it is. Um,
But why is it for a different time?
oh, what?
Get into it.
What do you think about the whole subconscious mind and subconscious and all that? Like,
So I think that you know how they've always told us, oh, humans don't use most of their brain. I think that's what happens. I think um, there's I think we operate in frequency levels, in energies, and I don't know exactly how it works, but it's how I can describe it. Where if you're low energy, you're gonna be depressed, you're gonna be anxious, maybe it's energy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No tengo ganas de hacer esto. I'm low energy. Okay, well, then the secret is to keep your energy high. Okay, so you need to take care of your energy and maintain your energy high, and that way we can attract that. Not that way, the law of attraction is gonna work. You're gonna attract what you want, and if you are in a high vibration, in a high energy. So there's a lot of things that if we do go within inside us and we start to explore our minds and the way we function and the way we are, we can take advantage of becoming more aware of our surrounding, of ourselves, how everything works, how everything functions, and then go and you know lose the programming that we've been taught, in anything, and this is how you can heal yourself, from any trauma or anything, that somebody told you you're not good enough because you look this way, because you look that way, you can't do it. Those are programming. That's
Yeah.
programming that some people
And
have put on us.
I think I agree 100%. I think it's that that for me just fascinates me that all those little things people don't realize. Well, a lot of people don't realize that it all builds you up, right? Everything that you are, just little by little, the subconscious builds you up without you knowing, right?
Yeah.
I've heard and I've heard things that if you go to sleep listening to you know let's say French, you want to learn French, right?
Hmm.
Every day, if you go to whether you're saying or not, your subconscious picks it up. right? I've never done it myself because French. I mean I don't care for learning French or any other language right now, but that goes back to being consistent. Can you really do it every day if you really, really want to get into the language, right? You may study the language, but another thing to do it is maybe train your subconscious mind, right? And all of that. For me, that's pretty interesting. I don't know how none of that works, but I think it's just like you said, it goes to energies, right? Someone walks in the room, you can feel
You
the
can feel
energy.
you can feel people. You
Um,
can feel people's fear. You can feel people's anger. You can just feel people, and yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's
And
it's cool. I like it. I really like it. That's all kind of like interesting to me. For him, he's just kind of like whatever.
No, I find it interesting too, but um, and I believe in good vibes, bad vibes, and everything. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like if I come in it with a good attitude. I mean, I just hope for the best. I mean, if I go into a situation where I feel like there may be bad vibes, I don't have to stay around. I can get up and go anytime.
and
So I
and,
mean,
and some of the like so and some of the ways that I can set as an example is sometimes when I'm somewhere and then in my mind I'm like I don't really want to be here, but then I continue to be there. Well, then I'm not being honest with myself, right? It's like I'm being there. Why? Maybe because I'm trying to please somebody or people, or I don't want to be looked upon bad. But in my your subconscious, and I'm pretty sure everybody's gone through this, where you go somewhere and you're like, I don't really want to be here. I don't really like this, but you go with it because
Yeah.
you know. I think that's an example of
Do you want to
being.
be here right now? He's
I'm
like,
well, I mean, I'm a little nervous to be on camera, but it's pretty cool. I love having conversations.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think everyone gets nervous on camera, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting.
I
Um,
think so.
yeah, I mean, I guess going back to just kind of to end it, you like downtown, right?
I love downtown. Yeah.
Downtown.
Yeah.
What do you see in the future? Like, what do you see downtown going? Like, do you see anything different? Do you see it's gonna be booming?
I
Do you
see it. I see it growing big time. I see these new restaurants coming up. Bars, and it's pretty cool. Seeing Salem downtown growing, and I think we run into the issue that there's no enough parking for everybody, right? So I don't know. I think it has to like the parking is an issue. I think for sure it's always been, but it's a good problem because there's a lot of people like coming to downtown. Especially in the weekend. So it's growing, and I like to see it grow, and it's pretty cool.
Where do you see downtown going, Jorge?
Um, I think it's gonna be booming. I think I've always felt that if you look at how population grows, we're seeing it, we're living in it. We don't pay attention maybe, but if you actually sit down and pay attention and look at the actual numbers, how many people actually come in or leaving, the housing market, new apartment complex, new hotels, new restaurants, new businesses. Yeah, sure, you might see some going down, maybe out of business because of the COVID, and maybe that's kind of stopped a little bit for some people. But I think it's gonna pick back up. I mean, I heard that they're gonna do more apartment complex by where Nordstrom used to be, and then a little bit more out there by the waterfront or the riverfront. There's gonna be like I don't know, apartments or housing or. Um, I think they're putting money into the riverfront park as well. So I think it's just they're trying to create a big culture.
I like it. I like the urban living. The new condos that are up in the apartments are pretty cool. I do like it. It's in and then I know it's been a few years, but merging Minto Brown with this park it's been
Yeah.
amazing. That's pretty cool.
That was pretty big, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah, stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually there'll be more events in the waterfront park. First time events, maybe some events that happen every year. But I think it's growing, and I think it's growing into a good place. And I think if you ever want to do a business or put your foot in, I think it's the time to do it. I think we're just living.
What kind of business are you gonna put in downtown?
We
What would
want
be
to.
good? What would be good?
We want to do a bar. We're gonna do a bar business. There's bars here and there, but I think the way we would do it is a little bit different than what we see around here. But that's different. I guess a different topic, a different time.
All right, let's talk about it.
let's talk about it. No, we've been trying to do a bar for a while.
Or you don't have to say it all, but
Yeah.
how would an ideal bar look for you, or what are some of the things you look for in a bar? What would make a good bar?
That's a good question.
I'm very detailed. I've always been detailed. Like, just it's at one point it gets a little bit too like, oh man, you're too like, dude, come on, just But I think it's having a good experience with the people that come into your bar, your restaurant or bar. Just having a good time, but just being a little bit different, as in probably having the best drinks out there, right? Actually, not just a regular bartender, someone that actually, what do you call those people that go to school for that?
I don't know what they're called, but there's a big difference between bartenders here and when you go to Vegas.
Okay.
You go to Vegas and you see these bartenders and they're like doing tricks and like, um, the best bartender, one of the best bartenders that I've ever seen actually too, and actually he's in Salem. I don't know his name. I met him once. He was a bartender at the what's that place called in the new restaurant over by in the alley.
Cozy?
Oh, the Cozy Taberna.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that food. It's amazing.
So they have a guy bartender. He's probably, if I were to guess, probably in his 40s. But this guy was like one of the best bartenders I've ever seen. Like, this guy was putting on a show, and as he was putting on a show, he had a full bar, and he was conversating with everybody, and then while doing like cool tricks, like this guy was like, he was amazing. Like, I thought that was pretty freaking impressive, and I haven't seen a lot of bartenders do that. He's one of very few people. And I don't know what it takes, but I'm sure we can find someone. If not, you know what I mean?
And I think creating that culture is taking care of your people, taking care of your crew, your people that you work with, right? Not just being a boss, right? Relating to them, giving them a good wage, treating them like family. Creating that culture in your restaurant with your people and your staff, it's gonna speak volumes, and they're gonna translate that to the people that come in, right?
And I've seen some businesses do that really well. One of the things for me that I've noticed is that the product has to be good when it comes to food. If I go to a place and the food is really good, then I'll come back. And then if the customer service is really good as well, also, then I'm a customer for life, because good food, good quality, and then good customer service. Boom! I feel like I can go in there anytime, and I feel fantastic. And so for food and beverage, in my opinion, for me, people don't mind paying for quality. As long as you give them quality, they'll pay it, because they want something different. Everybody wants something good, something unique, something different. They're tired of the fucking same shit everybody's fucking doing, so they want something special, unique, different. Whether you say you put on a show for them or something that's gonna make them go, wow. Yes.
Drinks that they don't see here pretty often. I mean, not maybe in Salem they don't see them, but there's other places. I mean, if you travel around, you've seen drinks that you don't see, in Salem. But just being a little bit unique, having a twist to it, having your own style, believing in your style, and then actually just going for it, but executing it good, right?
Yeah, like for example, Archive, when they started, there was nothing like that in Salem before. You Archive, the kind of places you'd see in New York City and Portland and big cities like that, but not in Salem. Nobody had done it in Salem, and then they came and did it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's like you said. I mean, I grew up in Salem myself. I've seen the scene, whatever business it is, bar, not bar, or coffee place. I've seen it grow. I mean, I used to, back then I would come over here. There's not a lot of things to do, right? There's not a lot of things. Now you see a lot of people in here. The culture's in here. Like you said, there's no parking, which is a good thing.
It's a good problem to solve.
Yeah.
But they've been trying to solve that problem for a long time. They talked about putting meters and stuff like that.
Meters? Or,
I don't think meters would help. I think meters would give the city more money, but I don't think they would help the parking problem. Do you think that would help the parking problem?
I don't know. I wouldn't like a meter.
But see, that's the thing, though. That's how cities grow, right? like
Yeah.
120 years ago, maybe Portland wasn't like this, and they didn't know how big the city was because they couldn't see it. Maybe we're living in that time frame from Portland that we don't know, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing it by all these buildings, all these housing developments, just more people coming in, right? Maybe at one point it's gonna stop a little bit, but I think it's gonna keep growing. But I guess my question would be, hey, what do you think of people like doing like their little patio thingy in the
yeah,
in
that's a
the
good question.
in the parking lot?
Yeah,
I know a lot of people get
there's a lot
mad.
Well,
of
there's
angry
always
people.
there's always two perspectives, or more than one perspective. One perspective is it's some they had to restaurants had to do that to survive because COVID, shutting down. So that's where it started to happen, where they had to put outside tents and all that. And it's great for the restaurant owner. They have to survive. As business owners, of course. Us. Wanting to park. Well, it's annoying to not have parking, right?
It's super annoying for us to not find parking, but I mean, and looking at it in a different picture, like you said, I mean, there's also small shop owners that sell different things, and they don't sell food or alcohol, so their customers may think like it's really hard to go downtown and find parking. I'm not gonna go tonight. Maybe I'll wait till Monday, and then they forget about it and not end up coming. So it's not just bars and restaurants. There's a lot of small shops too in the area. So I mean that are being affected with that. And I mean I don't know. Maybe it is a good thing, but I mean like you said, that was because of COVID. But I mean at this point, COVID's not really a thing anymore. So
But I
I
think,
don't know.
Yeah.
but I think they're just doing it now. I think they're just getting the permit and doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it I find it interesting, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you like downtown, you like downtown.
I mean, it depends what side of
If side of the coin you're
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, because if I'm the business owner, I'm like, hell yeah, I want to put that.
And if you're the other business
If I'm
owner,
the
you're
other
like,
business owner, I'm gonna be like, no.
So
Affects
I
my-
find it if we get a couple more, or even a few more, you're gonna see that kind of in every restaurant, and that's kind of when you say, right. You might have a shop that sells, like the boutique, right?
boutique, yo.
What are they gonna do? They're not gonna do anything like that. It's only the restaurants that are doing
And
that.
then what I can just think is maybe the restaurant owners being the bigger business will get listened to more because they're producing the more income in rent or whatever, property
More
tax
taxes,
or
yeah.
whatever. So sales tax, whatever. So yeah, maybe the little guys are always, it's harder to hear the little guys because it's yeah, they don't pay as much. So I think that's part of it, but hopefully we can find a happy medium.
Carlos for governor, let's go.
Fucking do it, man. I'm gonna fucking run for mayor.
Why not?
This is my announcement.
This is the announcement. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be
for
cool.
real.
That would, see now that would be fantastic. Although they
Getting
would find,
ideas?
they would find
No,
all
that's
my,
good.
they would find all my past secrets in my life and destroy me in the media, maybe.
well, media. Well, I mean, I guess, man, because there was this politician that they pulled out a picture of him from like 1957, and I don't want to get into like what the picture was about, but I'm like, dang, this was from, dude. He was like 20, I think, at the time. So I mean, like, this guy's like in his 70s, and they're pulling pictures of him still. Like, dude, give him a break. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Nah, man, you're good, man. If Trump don't get in trouble, you don't get in trouble.
Hey, you see.
that's true. That's true. I mean, I
Go
don't-
along with it.
never say never. Never say never, right? But it would be fucking cool, wouldn't it?
I
like
think so.
if you like become mayor and then you like it and you learn how to lead people, because it's all about leading and like directing, right? So if you get good at it, you can start with city council, right? Okay, city council, okay, mayor, and then move up.
What's his name? The guy that
forgot his
owns
name.
Azul Tacos. Isn't he
I
running? Doesn't he?
Jose Gonzalez.
Jose
He's
Gonzalez.
part of the city council.
He's
yeah.
part of the
Oh,
city
okay.
council for the Hayesville area, I believe.
Yeah. He's been. I known him for a while.
I
and-
voted for you, dude. Just so
Yeah?
if you want to come on the podcast, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, he's helped us a lot when we had our business, our marketing business.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Part of the Latino Business Alliance too. So
Awesome.
Are you pretty involved with the Latino? What did you say?
Community?
No, what did you say it was the
Latino Business
yeah,
Alliance?
mm.
No, not right now. I used to be back in the day when I had my business here. I used to be more involved in the community, especially those groups. Right now, I just don't have the capacity to be involved in right now in a lot of things. But yeah, it's I've known people from the community that way connect. Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know really much about it, but I've heard of a couple people being involved in it. But I don't know much about it. But it's been something that we've been looking into.
Yeah, they have a annual conference called Expo Negocio. A lot of business owners come to network. It's a networking event, and
Is
they
that just
learn
an Oregon
classes.
thing, Salem thing, or what?
They do it here in Salem, and yeah, at the Jamaica Business Center too. They have events.
But is it like Oregon business owners or Salem business owners or
Yeah,
what?
the one here is Salem, mostly Salem Kaiser. Yeah,
Mostly Salem Kaiser
Yeah.
people.
around Marion County. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
county. Okay, cool. Damn. So you said that you were gonna be gone. You're gonna be gone next week, right? You're gonna go to Mexico.
I think I'm gonna take a little vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You going to Mexico City or what?
I go to Mexico City. Yeah.
Nice. My dad's from Mexico City,
Oh yeah.
so I have family in Mexico City too.
Okay. Well,
That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Dude, Mexico City is something else, man.
Yeah.
Dude, last time I went was like 2-3 years ago.
Mhm.
Dude, I freaking love Mexico City. Mexico City is something else. I think that in the States, the biggest city that I've probably been to is probably LA.
LA.
And I like LA.
You like the big cities?
I love big cities, but Mexico's just something else, man. Mexico
I mean,
City.
it's the biggest city in the Western, right?
Western Hemisphere, yeah.
Have you been to ¿cómo se dice the Tepito? ¿Es Tepito the
Tepito?
callejón?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
callejones
Tepito.
or no?
Yep.
Like
Tepito
Yeah.
son los
The market,
callejones.
right?
It's
Yeah.
the second or third world biggest flea market in,
market.
in,
You been
in the
there?
world.
I've been there.
Yeah?
Not like deep in Tepito, but like on the outsides
Yeah.
of Tepito. Yeah. Yeah.
what's the vibe there? I've never been there. What's the vibe? Because I hear a lot of things.
I like Tepito, dude.
I hear like, oh, it's dangerous. The biggest in the world, one of the biggest in the world. Que acá and this and
Well,
that.
I've
It's
never
just-
experienced anything like that. It's I just big.
But you've been around there, anyways.
Yeah,
right?
it's like dirty,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of vendors. There's a lot of things happening all the time. A lot of people, a ton of people, a lot of people all the time. So
Tepito's another vibe, man. I like Tepito because I have a cousin that is big. He's a big merchant in Tepito, in like the middle of Tepito, and my mom's family's from Morelia, Michoacan, and that's usually where I stay. And then I'll go to Mexico City and I'll spend a couple days there with some cousins and uncles there. But one of my uncles from Morelia, he goes and he buys stuff from Tepito. He buys sunglasses, and he'll take them to Morelia and he'll resell the sunglasses. So I go with him when I go with him all the time. He goes once a week, and dude, it's different, dude. It's so fast. Everybody's just like,
It's like a hustle,
dude, it's a hustle, man.
On the go.
But like over there, like they'll like steal your wallet and you don't even know. Like they'll bump into you,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, like everybody's like walking so fast, like you don't even know who bumped into you. Like it's like, and I've watched like videos on it on YouTube. Like there's a couple different documentaries of that. But it's a super interesting place in my opinion. I love that kind of atmosphere, man.
What's the craziest thing you've seen there? Like people selling or whatever? Like
It's not, so the craziest thing in my eyes is not what they sell, because obviously like the crazy stuff, like you're not gonna see it. Like it's all
Yeah.
hidden behind doors. But the crazy thing about Tepito is that you can find anything that anybody is looking for. It doesn't matter what it is. Black market, everything and anything is sold there. But what I found just like amazing was like the amount of product that everybody's selling. So like the guys that were selling sunglasses, there was probably like 40-50 different vendors that were just selling sunglasses. Like toys, there was like 150 vendors, and they all had like big spots, like probably spots like at least as big as this and bigger. 150 people selling different toys. They had buildings that looked like malls where they were all like specific things, and like you're just walking and it just doesn't end, and then it turns into alleyways, and then they have like garage doors, and then everybody's selling like their stuff out of like the garage doors, and then that's like almost like warehouses. And like my cousin, he sells peluches, stuffed toys and stuff. And it's like kind of like LA where they have like the huge buildings too, and they produce all that stuff in like the buildings. So
Oh.
a lot of those toys are like
Interesting.
made there or shipped from China, or a lot of people will buy the products to make them, and they buy them in big huge connexes, and then they'll like put everything together there. So like
Wow.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Is,
It's factories in their
That is crazy.
warehouses.
That is crazy.
And then a lot of it is generational things. A lot of those people that are there, their parents did that, their parents did that. So they've all been living in like the same houses for just years, bro. And these buildings are like really old buildings, super interesting looking buildings. It's pretty cool.
I bet there's a lot of shady stuff going there too, no?
Oh, dude, super shady stuff.
I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I'm telling you, if you're interested in that, you just go on YouTube and you'll be like, what?
What the hell I get myself into?
Dude, it's a rabbit hole.
It's
Guns, dude, and the thing about Mexico, guns are illegal in Mexico. Only law enforcement is allowed to have guns. You can go there, you can buy any gun that you can possibly think about, and they will have it there. Anything,
Wow.
anything and everything. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
is you're from
Mexico City.
Mexico City. Is your family, your parents from Mexico City, or so Chilangos? They come from.
They come from on my dad's side, son de Guerrero. We come from Guerreros on my dad's side, and on my mom's side, somos de Puebla, and so yeah, they settled in Mexico City and were born there. And I remember a little bit up until 6 years old. I came here, but I've always gone back. So I've always like constantly gone back and reconnect with Mexico. And I didn't grow up in Mexico, so now as an I'm older, I'm getting to know Mexico more. I've been traveling more in Mexico. I took a recent road trip through León. We hit up a few cities with me and my friend. We started in León. We went to Querétaro. We went to Puebla, Veracruz, Tabasco, Campeche, Mérida, Yucatan, and then we ended up in Cancun, and so I've been slowly getting to know parts of Mexico that I didn't know because I didn't grow up in Mexico. So
How's Yucatan? I've always been kind of interested in like Yucatan, like the very south, like all that, like.
yeah,
I don't even know Chiapas, Quintana Roo, that area.
yeah. One of the things that we were noticing is, and then it's interesting because we just traveled because of the hell of traveling. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have an agenda; it was just road tripping, and one of the things that we've noticed is every city looks and feels different, and even the people look and feel different. And talking about energies, and so every city you go to, there's a different culture, right? A different set of people, different. Even the streets may look different. There's a lot of Mexico. Has a lot of potential, has a lot of great stuff, but they fall back on a lot of on a lot of things, especially like roads and building bridges and construction, and they just lack. And this is what we talk about. Maybe it is because, a lot of people feel this way, that because corruption,
Corruption.
the governments contract out, to certain companies, and companies cut corners, and they don't build the roads right. They don't build them correctly. And you see part of it has to do with like massive amount of traffic and people that, maybe the roads can't handle it. But you go to different cities, you see that some cities are better than others and have done a better job at even just keeping the streets cleaned, from garbage. You go to Estado de Mexico, where we're from, it's fucking ghetto, bro. Like it's ghetto, and it's you go a little further and it's really bad. Like, you have the dumpsters there, and, people are still living a certain way. And so, and then you go to a different state and it's beautiful, it's clean, the roads are clean, and the people, it's just different parts of Mexico.
Do you think that that visiting Mexico at such a young age, like you said you were here when you were 6, but you would often go back, do you think that it affected like your mindset, like the way you looked at things, the way you appreciated things, and the way that you kind of like live your life at this point?
Like coming over here,
No, like going back over there.
going back over
Because
there.
you were raised here.
Yeah.
So like you going for a short like couple weeks over there at a time or a month at a time, like, and you seeing how people lived over there compared to how you lived here. Do you think that that gave you a different perspective?
Well, definitely a different perspective. I'm pretty sure we all go through that. You know, people that are raised here and go back to Mexico, we don't feel like we are from them either. You know, we may have being an immigrant growing up, we would feel um, separated here from the people, from the general people, and you would have the same feeling in Mexico because you were also different.
Mm-hmm.
So you're different here,
And you're different there.
and you're different there.
That's where that
That's an
saying
interesting
comes from.
perspective, yeah.
Like
Ni de
you're
aquí ni de allá.
ni aquí ni allá, because
Yeah.
it makes sense. Like, and you see it now. Now with social media, now it's like a lot of people are more like, they can kind of like connect with it. It's like they say like, well, here I'm not white enough for my white friends, and in Mexico I'm not Mexican enough for my Mexican people. So it's like you're in that between, ni aquí ni allá.
And that's, I think we go through that, and then as a teenager, as a kid growing up, you know, you're trying to deal with that. You don't know really how to deal with that. You just kind of like, oh well, it's like this, well it's like this over here, it's like that. You don't really know how to deal with it, I think, growing up. So try your best, you know, and part of it is, yeah, just kind of isolating yourself, you know.
I think as you get older, you kind of, but I think it affects the young, like you said, when we're younger or younger people, it's like no one can really relate, right? Your parents can't relate, and who relates to you, right? But I think at this point in this generation, anybody from the 90s from up here now, it's like,
Yeah, and then not only that, but like going from a place like Oregon, Salem, you know, very small, right, to place like, you know, Mexico City and Nezahualcóyotl where we
yeah.
live. It's just like polarities, and so, you know, you don't know how it is over there. You don't know how the lingo is. You don't know how the streets are. You don't know, like, you haven't built that edge.
There's street signs, bro. I can read and write in Spanish, and you see there's street signs, and I get confused as hell. I'm like,
Everybo-
dude, I don't know where the hell I'm going.
Everything looks the same in Mexico, right? The streets, like, there is just, yeah, it's extreme, like going from Salem, Oregon to a place like Mexico City.
Very, very extreme. And where I was getting at that, because when you were saying that, like, you go through like the ghetto, like you go through like the rough places, and I remember the first time that I went to Mexico, I was 5, and I remember that I saw like I would saw like sheds essentially, like where people were like living, and you would have to drive through there, and I'd be like, damn, there's really people living like this. And I was 5, bro. I was 5. Like, it was way different than it is here.
Yeah.
And every time that I go back, uh, over by the airport in Morelia, before you get into town, I mean, driving through like that highway that they have. It's like a two lane highway there. Um, th- the streets, the houses that you see on the side of the roads, like the poverty level, like that is truly like a third world country. Like, you see that, and you see how people live,
Yeah.
and like big families, and like essentially like a studio almost. And then you see the way that you live over here, and you're like, damn, I'm like truly blessed.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my little brother's 21. I think he turned 21 this year. And he was too young to see that, and he never really went back to Mexico. But so he doesn't really know the difference. And when I try to explain it, it's just so mind blowing that he doesn't he just can't really imagine it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to explain. To me, I feel like it's easy to explain, but I feel for like someone that hasn't personally seen it, it's hard to grasp.
Yeah, yeah, and so, you know, it's, if you want to learn about people, yeah, it's really cool to go from city to city to see the different types of energies where people are at, and um, you know, some of the most like poor cities, you know, or poor neighborhoods in Mexico. You see the way people live, and um, you know, like, I think the goal is to raise humanity from that, right? We want to all rise as human beings and try to be the best we can be. So when you see something like that, it's like heartbreaking because being alive, being here is such a gift. It's such a gift that we take for granted. We don't realize that we have an expiration date, and and we don't know when that's going to be. We hopefully think it's going to be for a very long time, but truth is we don't know. And like there's a lot of people that are down there where um you know I when I see it like that, going to poor neighborhoods and seeing people live in bad places in a bad way, you know it makes me want to do something to 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 help that, right, to better that for everybody, because we should all like be appreciating our life and striving to get out of there, get out of the ghettos, get out of it. And so I think that's the goal, to raise awareness, and so we can all rise up together. And then going back to like Yucatan. So Yucatan is a beautiful, beautiful. Not only Yucatan, but also um, Tabasco.
Tabasco,
And
Merida, and all those places.
yeah, and one of the things, like going back to the infrastructure in Mexico, um, like I I was sharing that like Mexico has so much great potential, but then they fuck it up sometimes, and
That's a nice way to put it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, oh, beautiful, great, and then they fuck it up with their fucking infrastructure. Like, get it together, and I know there's a lot of corruption and stuff, but you go to places like Tabasco, and the roads are beautiful. They look like U.S. highways, and you don't have to pay for them, and it's 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 proof that, look, we can fucking do it right. You just choose not to, or there has to be a better way.
Do you think that that area, Tabasco or whatever, like city or state, do you think they're more like excluded from Mexico? Like they're more like, hey, this is kind of our side. We're in the south. We're like,
Doing their
estamos
own
hasta
thing.
acá. This is kind of like we're never really part of the map of Mexico, anyways.
I
You
think so. Yeah, I think so. And then we were all also criticizing the governments because we're like, this city is fucking shitty, so the government is fucking shitty.
Yeah.
Oh, this city is good. Okay, let me see who the government is, because they've been doing a good job. They're doing an okay job. Whoever is in charge.
Are you into soccer?
Just with the World Cup.
Not Mexican soccer?
Nah, not too much.
No. Do you remember Cuauhtemoc Blanco?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, my dad says that he's a governor for Cuernavaca.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Morelos, yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that. Dude,
Yeah.
Cuernavaca is one of the most beautiful cities in Mexico.
Yeah. But is
Yeah.
Cuauhtemoc Blanco considered corrupt though?
Yes,
right?
my dad said he's
Yeah.
corrupt as fuck.
Well,
I think
I
he
wouldn't
is.
know it. I wouldn't know anything about it, but I've heard about Cuauhtemoc.
I've heard that there's pictures of him like with fucking cartels and this madre. I don't know.
But that's
like,
what I mean. They fuck it up because it has so much potential and so much power, but it is very corrupt in many
I
ways.
think they try to do the right thing, but then once they're in there, they realize there's a lot of
It's
money.
easier to do this.
Yeah, it's so much money. Like you're against all the odds. It's this at this point, like whatever. I feel like every place is corrupt. Every country's corrupt. It just everybody does it different, right? Here they could give you it's corrupt, but it's like we're still gonna
Yeah.
show it that we're caring.
Yeah.
Over there, it's like we're corrupt, but I don't give a fuck, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
the difference between countries, right? UK, France, the US. Like those countries are like. I would consider everyone corrupt.
So there's some level of corruption.
Hey, there you
in
go.
everywhere,
Level
yeah.
corruption.
Yeah.
And I think some countries are just like we just don't care. We don't care. If we know we're corrupt. You know we're corrupt, and we don't care. And what are you gonna do about it? And that's it. And I think that's the level of Mexico and maybe the Southern American countries that there is nothing you can do.
But I'll give you an example of the complexity of the problem because, for example, corruption. So in Mexico, there's these, call them huachicoleros, which they steal gasoline and then they sell it on the black market for less money. And so there was a lot of that going on a few years ago. And so um, it happened to be that this happened in somewhere around the middle of Mexico. And they stole or they took over a pipe of gas, and then it was like squirting everywhere. But people were rushing to fill their tanks to get free gas, right?
Mm.
So what happened is there was so many people wanting to get free gas because everybody wanted to take advantage of, like, look, there's a pipeline here. Me. Well, unfortunately, there was a big explosion and a lot of those people died. The ones they went to go get the gas, the free gas. But that is the I don't know what to say or how to describe it, because the me, I want survive, because if I don't have this, I'm gonna fucking die. So I'm gonna survive at all costs. It doesn't matter if I fucking stomp on you, I'm gonna survive because I want this free for me. That attitude is what fuels the corruption, because if if somebody stole the gas and nobody would buy it, well, the corruption wouldn't be a business. But it's that energy, and that's such a complex problem, because then now you start to get into the why and the how, and how did it get
But
there.
that energy, I feel, it's because they grow up poor. They grow up, it, it all starts with how poor you are in a certain country, right? If you're so poor, then at one point, what does your mind tell you? I don't know because I've never been there, but like you can't. I feel like at one point, if you're not there, it's kind of hard to comprehend what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that sees it at a different place, it's for us, it's like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
but for them, like
Mm-hmm. Survival mode.
survival mode,
Yeah.
right? We've never been in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that tell you? I mean, I guess the closest thing for survival mode would be COVID. Is that really survival mode? It's not. But how were people acting here?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine at a different level where you're down anywhere, any country that's you're very poor. You don't unfortunate. It's gonna take you to levels, and you're gonna be like, what the hell, right? I think it's tough because we cannot relate because
Yeah.
we're not there.
And that's why it's such a complex problem,
Mhm.
because yes, like maybe it was my tío that was in there. It's like, tío, what the
El tío.
fuck, like, I love you, but it's just an example, right? It could have
Yeah.
been my friend, my tío, whatever. Like, I love you, but what are you doing there? And then look what happened. Like, this is a big complex problem that's been going on for like a lot of like years and cultures, and passing, coming from that, because we came from the ghetto. We were born in the ghetto, Nezahualcóyotl. When I was born, the street didn't have it. It wasn't a street; it era puro lodo, and the infrastructure wasn't there. And so I come from there, And every time I go back, it's just like, this is where I come from, and then I see it, in the differences, being here, being there, the experiences. And so yeah, I mean, I think that's why working on raising awareness is so important. Being aware of yourself, being aware of, first of all, yourself, but others, and being truth to yourself, so we can get out of that scarcity mindset and survival mode that we've been on ever since, from generations to generations. And I tell you, I come from that, being in survival mode, where my, even just my grandparents, they used to be immigrants in Mexico, right? Being an immigrant in Mexico, it's a different thing. Like being from a little pueblito, going to the other cities to go pick coffee beans. So my grandparents were immigrants, and they come from that, and so they really have started from zero. And so I come from that, and it's always you know a reflection on where we've been and where we're going. And now that we're here, and we have the opportunity to have family here, and you know continue the journey. You know, that's the journey in to a higher self.
Yeah, word.
Yeah,
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. For
Yeah.
sure.
That's deep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
deep,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's good. It's good. I'm enjoying the process of becoming, better and better, and having doing the real estate really, gives me the opportunity to do that. So, I'm loving it, man. I'm really thankful for my life and the opportunity. Things are not perfect. Things are not great. I go through things too. I go through pain too, and challenges and everything. But I think at the end of the day, recognizing that, it is a gift to be here. It really is a gift to be here alive and just for the opportunity to fucking live. Let's fucking do it. And so my thinking is like, all right, all right, I get the chance to live. I'm
Mhm.
gonna fucking try to maximize my life here as best as possible, right? So what do you want? So then the question is, what do you want, right? What do you want from your life? What do you want? You may think you want something, and then maybe you work your way up, and you're like, yes, I got it. Oh shit, what do I want now? Like, what do you really want? And that's the question. I think.
I think it's live because, and I mentioned to him once, it's like, the, you have a goal, you have a target, and that's good and that's fun. And I think the journey is what's cool about it, right? Um, at the end of the day, I saw something and it literally hits. I mean, they say, if I give you $1 million right now, but you have to die tomorrow, will you take the $1 million? Most likely you wouldn't take it, right? If I give you $1 million, but you're gonna be sick for the rest of your life with something,
Suffer.
suffer for us, you're not gonna do it because at the end of the day, your health and yourself and your life is what's more important, but you don't realize it until you're in the situation, right? People that have cancer, or people that got shot or whatever, exploded, don't have a leg, you know, people are trying to survive for their life. The last thing they care about is the money.
Yeah.
They want to live.
Yeah, we want to
So
live. That's for sure.
people that are healthy usually are chasing, because that's fine, right? You're chasing the goal, but it comes back again, right? If I tell you right now, I'll give you $1 million, but that means you're gonna have a disease that's not curable, and you're gonna live the rest of your life miserable.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna say no to the $1 million because right now you're living good. You're having your goals. You're living healthy. You have a plan, right? It's not never about the money. It's always been about living and having that drive and that journey and being healthy to do that, right?
Yeah.
Being healthy to pursue what you want to do, because at the end of the day, if you're not healthy, you can't make money if you don't have a passive income or if you don't have anything that's making you money. So it's being healthy and being alive would be the thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that we're in a different boat. I feel like we're probably one of the first generations for Hispanics to be able to do what we want to do. My parents didn't have that opportunity, and I don't think your parents had that opportunity, but you and I have a different opportunity. And I think that that's why I'm so eager to work, and I just want to make things happen. And that's why I'm always excited. And I have a vision and where I want to take things. And I feel like that's what drives me too, because I know that I have an opportunity that not a lot of people have. We have an opportunity that not a lot of people have. So I think that that's a big drive. Um, but I guess changing the topic, because that got kind of dark. That kind of got dark.
Oh no,
Yeah. Well, we are dark. We are
Yeah,
light.
we are dark.
I mean,
We are,
it's
we are
talking
dark.
about-
We are light. We are everything.
It's talking about everything.
But your parents are pretty much passing the torch.
For sure.
Hey, look, this is what I did. You fucking take it from here.
You do
All
better.
right, all right. That mad props to you. Fucking immigrating. It was hard. I know it was tough.
Because it's crazy to think about, and this is the thing. Like, I can't see myself just moving to Europe or anywhere and not knowing the language. Let's say I go to, like, Italy or something, not knowing anything, moving. I'm like, something this like,
It's hard. It's
especially
hard.
with
It's not easy.
the level of education that at least my parents had, right?
Yeah.
At least for us, we're a little bit more educated, pero de todos modos, it's like for them just coming over, it's like, damn, damn, dude, like you really just came over,
So
not
let
knowing the language, not knowing anything.
so let me tell you a story que me contó an immigrant friend, my dad's. So they would come to Oregon back in the 80s. They would come to Oregon to work in the fields, and then they were young, maybe 30s, I don't know. And so they were energetic and they were working in the fields, and they back in the day they had like camps where they still do, I think, the camps with the obreros live. So they would get picked up from California. Hey, you guys, hey, we have work in Oregon. Anybody want to work? Okay, yeah, and then they would go, and then they would live in the camps, and then being here in Salem, close to Salem area, they would hear about like, oh, learning English, that should make it a okay. So then they started to go to Shemekra to learn ESL, and I think one day the boss man, which was also Mexican, would notice that they would leave, after work to Shemekra to learn English, and um, and then in one of those, he told them, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" "Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm going to ESL classes." "You didn't come here to learn English. You came here to work. You can't leave. So you go back to your place, and you can't do that. That's against the rules." And so it's heartbreaking, and because imagine yourself being that old, 30, whatever, high energy, you want to like you want to succeed, you want to get better and better. You came, you have to work, and then you got shut down. No, you can't do that. Oh, what? You know? And those are the kind of things like that some of our parents, would go through, as immigrants. Of course, and then I would ask him, well, how would you feel? Like, well, I'm new here. I don't know anybody. I don't want to get kicked out of where I live. I don't want to fucking live in the street. So I'm gonna follow the rules. So then their dream gets shot down because they're afraid to, they're immigrants. So those are the kind of fucking things that people don't understand, our parents have gone through, and those are the fucking things that we have the opportunity to change for ourselves. We already fucking come from a deficit, guys. We come from a deficit. So, órale, güey, tienes que echarle ganas. So, fuck it. We have to fucking go. We had to fucking go because we already had to fucking catch up. You know, fuck, we already fucking have to catch up. Well, then, fuck it. That's where we're hard workers. We're known to be hard workers. Well, we need that. We need to be that because we need to catch up. All the things that our parents,
Yeah, 100%
grandparents.
agree, man. I think that's nailed it. I think that's how it is. I mean, whether we want to, believe it or not, that's what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So I applaud anybody who's doing, anything, and consistently too. Like the realtors, we have a lot of friend realtors that, we get along, and every time I see, the realtors doing good, I'm like, man, props to you because I know how fucking hard it is, and if you can do that and if you can do it consistently, all props to you because you're fucking doing it. And so it's pretty good to see that because I know how hard it is to do something good consistently. That's the hard part. So yeah, we gotta just keep it going. And
cool. Before you got anything else before we wrap it up, or
Yeah, just I wanted to touch on social media a little bit. You talked a little bit about what you guys are doing on social media. Um, and you guys are doing like ad campaigns and stuff. What do you think would help us as as like a starting up podcast?
well, definitely you need to get some audience, right? Looking at your channel, looking at your views. What we have been contemplating starting a podcast, but I think we're still building up our process and our ways. But one of the things that we have been trying to do is bring the podcast style of content creation into just clips because reels are a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
in everywhere. YouTube has clips now, Instagram has reels, Facebook has reels, YouTube has shorts. So it's all about reels and short videos. They're very addicting. So promoting this kind of stuff in a short reel, taking little clips from here and there, so you can start catching people's attention. Oh, these guys, who are these guys? What are they talking about? And getting some good snippets there.
So I 100%. I think that's the way to go, and I think at one point YouTube was the thing, but I think the audience has shifted to the that dopamine, that quick reels, the story that you said YouTube has it now. Everybody has it. That little quick, that
Mm-hmm.
you call it quick
Quick
fix,
high, yeah.
quick high. It's like boom, boom,
Boom, boom,
boom,
boom,
like
boom.
minute, like
Yeah.
people want to see that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the way to approach it. I think the way to adapt is to the generation that is going to be that, right? Not to the old generation that used to be able to watch something for an hour and a half, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you can still do that, but I think the target is those clips.
Yeah, until you build an audience, until people want to hear more about you, because I was like, you know, the big podcast, Joe Rogan. People watch the whole damn thing in 2 hours, 3 hours,
But
whatever.
he's known.
But he's known. He's
Yeah,
got the
that's
audience.
thing.
So
He's known.
so if you build the audience for people to want to listen to you, well, then yeah, you're gonna start getting more minutes. But at first, well, you need to pretty much.
I think it's the reels to get people, and to make a name or a brand for yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I think it's the podcast Salem downtown downtown Salem is repetitive system, repetitive, and then until eventually like, oh, these guys were there, they're gonna see this. Oh, Carlos was there. Oh, Isaias was there. Oh, no, this guy was there. Oh, Juanito was there. Oh, that's the place everyone goes to. Who the hell are these
Yeah,
guys?
yeah.
And then so eventually you go. That's the way I think, you know, um, I see it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just the
brand,
repetitive.
the branding part.
It's
yeah.
the repetitive process that subconsciously, you're like, even if you don't watch it, you're like, de repente, you're gonna remember that, right? And I think that's the target that you're gonna capture, and then eventually you grow to, if you want to grow to like have people tune in to your freaking hour long, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Or even live,
Yeah, that would be cool. That's the
Live.
goal. That's the goal. Yeah.
Live is, I'm not too much about live, but
That would be cool. And then also like I know that we're tired of the same bullshit over and over again. And that's why I think that's why Donald Trump had a lot of success, because he was different. And people want real. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's fucking shitty, crappy, give me the fucking truth. You know?
Carlos for mayor.
Mayor Carlos, let's go.
No, it's serio. Like, I'm tired of the fucking saying bullshit. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to bullshit around, that's fine. You know, but like, in my opinion, I think people want something real, something like, hey, I identify with that too.
They can
I feel
relate
like
to,
that.
yeah.
I feel like that. I feel you. Oh, you're going through that. You're talking about this. Good. I'm going through that too. So. I think that's part of the key why Joe Rogan is so successful, because he's just genuinely, he says it. I'm genuinely curious. I really do care and about talking about this thing. I'm not putting it up front. In whatever I do know, I can share. Whatever I learn, I can share. Whatever I don't know, I don't fucking know, man. I'm fucking trying to figure it out too,
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
being true, being real, I think that's
That's
key.
down.
And before we head out, do you have anything exciting, you or your team, anything exciting that's coming up in the next couple weeks that you would like to shout out?
We have we just I'm just so happy we've been growing the team, and it's exciting to put it together. We are slowly growing. I'm happy that we have lender partners who believe in us, who work with us, and just excited right now. Pretty much, towards the end of December, just kind of getting ready for the next year, and There's a lot of changes going on right now. People, I think, are have the holidays in mind. A lot of people are sick. The weather's changing. The time's cold. New weather. So it's a transition time right now, and it's the end of the year. It's coming. So, um, yeah, I'm just excited for next year. We have a lot of things we want to do, um, and really, it's just about putting pillars in place, and that's what we've been doing. So I'm just excited to continue doing that. So we've done good work, and we still have a lot of work to do. So
That's
Hell yeah,
awesome.
man.
yeah,
Yeah, man, that's good. Hey, thanks for coming over, man. I mean,
yeah,
appreciate it. We'll probably see you around downtown.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty
Come
often
come
now.
next door. We'll do
Probably
it.
go check it out
We'll
for
do it over
sure.
there.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
do it over there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you too. Thank you,
Okay.
Carlos.
Okay. Yeah.
Checking out. Thank you guys.
Let's go.